Queensland going for another whitewash. You can catch it on Wednesday, July the 7th, 10:30 a.m, HD1 and Sky Sports 1, Origin Game 3. And if you miss that, the highlights are at 5 on HD2 and Sky Sports 2, and 9 on HD3 and Sky Sports 3. New South Wales against Queensland. And coming up this evening, after we've finished here at the Recreation Ground, Super League's Supermen, Brian Carney, joined by his special guest, and fittingly, as we're in West Cumbria, it's the Harlequins captain, Rob Purdham, 9:30 on Sky Sports 2. But we've still got the second half to go here at the Recreation Ground, and Whitehaven will get us underway, trailing by 4 points to 18 against the Widnes Vikings. Oh, and Thomas Coyle with a calamitous error at the start of the second half, and the ball seemed to take an age to reach him as well. It just hung in the air, almost too long for Coyle.
This is not what you want. You don't want to make a mistake. Coyle just took that pass in and it went straight through his arms, putting his side under a lot of pressure. How can they defend?
Well, what an opportunity this is for Whitehaven, right at the start of the second half. From the kick-off, they get the opportunity to put pressure on the Widnes Vikings defence.
And they finished the first half very strongly.
Oh, it's gone backwards, says the referee. So the second half, starting very much like the first half did, messily. But that's 3 tackles gone as Johnson drives the ball in for Whitehaven. Oh, and Leroy Joe goes without it. What a mess.
I think we're having a clumsy jugglers competition here tonight. The ball very difficult to keep hold of. Leroy Joe, very experienced.
So Widnes have it back after all that, and Ben Kavanagh is in possession.
Watch this. Oi.
Has to be said though, the conditions don't favour handling skills. It's still raining, the wind blowing the rain around.
Shot.
So it's play safe tonight, I think, for these two sides. Here is Chris Gerrard now. That's the 5th tackle just on the halfway line of the Widnes Vikings as Gerrard plays the ball, and Kirk Netherton drills a kick downfield, and it's a good one as well. Eelbeck will have to retrieve that. Try scorer just before the half-time break. Let's get some half-time news from the sidelines now with Rod Studd.
Well, Bill, Mick Cassidy and the Widnes boys were disappointed with the way that first half finished. Not just the fact they conceded a try, but also the way their skills started to let them down in the final 10 minutes of that first half or so. But they do believe they can do a fair amount of damage around the ruck area when they've got the ball. They're looking for some skill from Thomas Corn in that department, although we've already seen him knock on. Jed Stokes, when asked him what he thought of the first half, he said, I'll tell you what, I don't think we're a beaten side. He's looking for more organisation, and he has confirmed that Rob Jackson's off with a pulled thigh muscle, Bill.
Thigh muscle the problem then for Jed Stokes' centre Rob Jackson. There is the craggy Kiwi in charge of this Whitehaven side, and they get, Widnes get the penalty.
I think it was an obstruction there, but Jed Stokes, he expects nothing less than 100% chocolate blue and gold team. Just watch the infringement here. The ball going behind a player before the foil has run through. There's the obstruction.
Well, the Widnes caretaker coach will be happy with that decision, because it's immediately given his side the opportunity to put a bit of pressure once again on the Whitehaven defence, and once again Dave Allen thundering onto that ball and quickly to his feet to play it. Here's Netherton, and Netherton taking him on himself and getting a fine solo try. And that's what he does so well, and that's why they're delighted that he's committed himself to the club for the remainder of this season and next season, Kirk Netherton. And he gets his 4th try of the campaign. And that was great work from the man who came here from Castleford Tigers.
Well, Whitehaven cannot surrender possession and afford to give penalties away. This is what I like about Kirk Netherton. He jumps out and really asks questions. He has people in motion, and the Whitehaven defenders, in their confusion, go for the man without the ball instead of that man with the ball. A great response from the Widnes side. Whitehaven going in with a couple of points on the board just before half-time, and Kirk Netherton with that brilliant dummy half run, getting Widnes back in the ascendancy.
And Grady with a 100% record this evening, and this he should continue with as he lands that conversion. And 2 more points for this Widnes Viking side, and immediately they've dispelled some of that optimism that Whitehaven might have felt. Kirk Netherton's try.
A very clever play from dummy half Kirk Netherton. You can see he gets up, he pumps the ball, only falls for it, but you've got to give a lot of credit to Dave Allen, the man who set up that field position. He cuts back against the angle, tries to change the direction of some of these defenders, tries to make them lose their feet. So a good strong play by the Widnes Vikings.
And Coyle takes that one, albeit at the second attempt, a little bobble. Probably heart in his mouth for a moment there.
And Dave Horton, who's run that ball, and he was the man that was with Kirk Netherton on that try.
Here's Lee Duran now.
He's had a good game, Dave Horton, since he's been introduced.
Matt Gardner. Tackle on the 40-metre line. Kyle Bibbett was with the tackle. And Coyle looking for a 40-20 maybe, but he's hooked that one back infield. And they'll have to run this one back now. Will Whitehaven from deep. Eelbeck in possession.
Well, again, that was just all about getting it down the pitch as far as you can and back in your kick chase. The little honest players in the game will get you the result.
Paul Johnson now. Well, Widnes maybe out of the top 6. Well, if they carry on here this evening, they'll be back inside the top 6, but they're already in the Northern Rail Cup final. They'll face the Batley Bulldogs on July the 18th. And if you want information about the big game in Blackpool, there's the number to contact, 08444 777 113, or you can go to the RFL's website, therfl.co.uk. And if you're not there, then Sky Sports 3 is the place to be for that game. 3:30 on Sunday, July the 18th, for the Batley Bulldogs against the Widnes Vikings.
Matt Gardner does an awful lot of work for this Viking side. Comes in off his wing, tries to take the ball forward, same as that man Shane Grady.
So important in the modern day game, the back three, the 2 wingers and the fullback. They're the first people, they start that roll on.
Here is Netherton again, that's the 5th tackle. Coyle finds Thackeray. Thackeray, little chip kick over the top. That one, I think, will be too strong, and Eelbeck won't have to run that one back.
You know, I saw Mick Cassidy with a bit of a smile on his face. He'll have to get rid of that. He's going to coach. He'll be great in no time.
Here's Kyle Bibb now. This recreation ground due to host a big game come October. Crowd wanting a high shot on Paul Johnson there. October the 3rd, it'll be Cumbria against an England side. 3 days before England set off for the 4 Nations in New Zealand and Australia. The England side will be here. Here's the high shot. And it was a high shot, surely.
Widnes lucky not to give that penalty away.
And just going back to that Cumbria versus England game, October the 3rd, news today that Rob Purdham is lined up to captain the Cumbria side that day. And Rob Purdham, of course, special guest on Super League Supermen after this evening's championship game.
They've been good at this all day. Kick pressure from Widnes, not allowing the time and space for Whitehaven to pick where they want to put that ball.
Here's Lee Duran again. Worked strongly for the Widnes Vikings, considering he wasn't in the original starting lineup until Dean Gaskell had to pull out. Jim Gannon, likewise, despite the best efforts of the Whitehaven front row to put him out of his stride. And here come the Vikings again. Dave Allen taking that pass well. It was dipping down by his knees.
It looked forward and all built.
Chris Gerrard now. And Whitehaven backtracking once more.
Keep coming, Howard. Go.
Thackeray now. Coyle, good hands from Coyle, and Lee Duran will go in for the try. The Irish international gets another one for the Widnes Vikings. his 5th try of the season. And like I said, he wasn't in the original starting lineup for the Widnes Vikings tonight, but circumstances meant that he was drafted into the starting lineup, and he has certainly earned his keep this evening. Finishing off another sweet flowing move from a Widnes Vikings side.
In professional sport, you have to cope with the highs and lows, and Lee Duran's night tonight didn't start off great. He wasn't sure that he was playing, and what he's done, he's turned up with an attitude that I'm going to prove you wrong and I'm going to get my spot back. It's beautiful footwork from him there. Just a strong, determined run. Look at the inside, outside options. Paddy Flynn round the back, and it's the front door ball to Lee Duran. And he gets a nice break for his troubles.
And he's got his first try since the game against Whitehaven at the Stobart Stadium at Easter. So nice synchronicity from Lee Duran, who bizarrely is sponsored by a newsagent in Cambridge. Widnes Viking supporters all over the country, and they'll be pretty happy, Viking supporters, this evening, because their side, oh, he's back on track, but Grady has missed one for the first time this evening, and one of the easier ones as well. But the Vikings certainly on target here.
Lee Duran deserves this try. But again, look at the halfbacks. They take the ball to the line. First Anthony Thackeray, then Thomas Coyle. Danny Barker gets that tackle all wrong. Good footwork by the big man, Lee Duran. Widnes coaching staff will be happy with that.
And Coyle confidently pouches that one.
Oh, it's been ripped.
And Flynn has lost that ball. He protests that it was stolen.
And I believe him.
Referee Robert Hicks had a good view of it, said play on. And so they do. Kyle Amor, Widnes ahead by 28 points to 4.
Well, the referee's saying you've got to keep possession. I think that was a dead set rip off Howard Hill.
Here's Leroy Joe. Here is Howard Hill. Go on, Howard. The Haven supporters below us shout, and Howard's going on. Ball or no ball. Leroy Joe sweeping pass out wide. Carl Rudd chips a little kick in. Calvert chasing it, and Varkulis will have to make sure of that.
Well, Danny Craven now has just entered the field at fullback. Very talented youngster for this Widnes side. But clever kick again from Carl Rudd. Looking out wide, seeing where his winger was. But again, Richard Varkulis not wasting any chances there. There he is, the youngster making his debut.
Danny Craven, just 18 years of age. And into the action, and that's a thundering run from Kyle Bibb, and Craven gets a hold of an ankle and clings on. But they're still with an opportunity. Dexter Miller, now then, can he get in this time? And it's another diving effort from Loz Hamzat. But has Hamzat got there this time, or is it another great piece of defence from the Widnes Vikings to deny the youngster on his debut? Hamzat denied in the first half. What about this one?
Well, Paddy Flynn again was in the frame, but I think that was Thomas Coyle who prevents him from scoring this try. What about this on your debut? Trying to tackle big Kyle Bibb. They offload the ball, they stay strong. And you can see Thomas Coyle just weighing up the options as Hamzat as he goes in for it.
Oh, I don't know, it's close. Let's have a look. This might be the angle.
Oh, he's put the ball down.
He's dropped it. Great goal line defence from Widnes again. It's the knee of the Widnes player. I can't quite see who it is. Is it Paddy Flynn?
It's Paddy Flynn.
Paddy Flynn gets a knee to the ball. Hamzat again being denied, I think.
So Rob Hicks waits for Stuart Cummins to make the call. The video ref rules out the try. And once again, Lawrence Hamzat is denied for the second time in this game by some great rearguard work from the Widnes Viking side.
And these are second efforts. They never give up. You think that they're going to score a try, Hamzat. Nearly scored 2 tries in this game, but been prevented at the last second by Paddy Flynn, and that time Thomas Coyle. But they are big, big plays. As I said in the first half. There we go.
It's Paul Johnson who's penalised there. Hand on the ball. Just look at Varkulis. There's a bit of clever trickery. Clamps his hand against the ball, forces that penalty. A bit of manipulation of the referee.
Jim Gannon takes the tackle then after the penalty finds touch. And a nice run-around move there from the Vikings. And they've lost the ball, though. And it's another penalty, another ball steal, says the referee.
Matt Gardner goes into collision with the ball close to his chest. And Scott McAvoy, I think the referee said he stole that ball. Scott McAvoy giving possession away. Yeah, it's getting a bit messy on the floor, as I say.
And the rain thundering down again. It's a miserable evening here in Whitehaven. And it's a miserable evening so far for the home side. Desperate for a win. Relegation very much a threat for the side now. And their home form, which is always one of their strong suits, letting them down this season. And here's young Craven getting into the action, but he's lost the ball. And the error count mounting here.
It's not surprising, it's a very greasy ball. You'd expect him to keep hold of that. He'll be disappointed with that tonight. Goes home and watches involvements, but plenty of time for that kid to shine. An outstanding prospect with a very bright future. Danny Craven, there's a name to remember.
So Whitehaven head and feed at the scrum. Widnes ahead, though, by 28 points to 4. Coach Paul Cullen unable to be with the side this evening on compassionate leave at the moment, but this is a cheering performance from his side after 5 defeats in a row in the championship and dropping out of the top 6. This is what they needed. And of course they've got that Northern Rail final against Batley to come Sunday week.
Well, both sides have the big physical guns on.
I'm wishing my life away. 2 weeks on Sunday. Can't wait. I cannot wait to get to Blackpool. That's what it is.
You're too excited, Bill.
In fact, I think I might go to Blackpool a week early. Craven has possession for the Widnes Vikings. And here's Paddy Flynn. And while the try scorers will get lots of praise this evening, Dave Allen, 2 of them, you've got to take your hat off to Paddy Flynn for his defensive work as well. There he is, the young fullback. Still only 22, but experience growing all the time.
He is an outstanding prospect, Paddy Flynn. Strength, speed, and can finish a try.
Well, he was a try scorer against Whitehaven earlier in the season in that Easter victory, in fact. Hasn't had an opportunity yet this evening, but still a good while to go in this game for Widnes Vikings to inflict more pain. Hamzat did well there, waited for the ball to come to make the tackle on Flynn.
An excellent catch from Paddy Flynn. It's a lovely left-footed kick from acting half. He's trying to offload the ball, but enough hurry and hassle from Whitehaven. Was that a bit high?
Well, these knowledgeable Whitehaven supporters certainly thought so.
10 metres and hold. Go.
Here's Leroy Joe, one of the senior members of this side, 35 years of age now, the Cook Islander. Again, scrappy from this Haven side. Howard Hill. And Jim Gannon went looking for Howard Hill there. This has been going on since the first minute, and Gannon realised who was in possession and thought, I want to be involved in that.
You could see that one coming straight away. As soon as Jim Gannon spotted that Howard Hill was held up in the tackle, there was only one place that Jim Gannon was going.
Howard Hill won't take a backward step, lads. We've all watched him for many, many years. He enjoys that part of the game. Good confrontation, that one.
That's the 5th tackle, and Haven struggling their way towards the halfway line, and then Leroy Joe with a kick across the field. Not the best, and it's in the hands of Varkulis now.
That was a poor kick from Leroy Joe. He needed to stick it into the corner. Ask a few more questions this Widnes side. Well, let's have a look where Mr. Howard Hill is and where Jim Gannon is.
On opposite sides of the field at the moment.
Not for long, Bill, not for long.
Here's Chris Gerrard. Gerrard has lost the ball, says the referee. Did well to spot that. Good pressure from Paul Johnson and Carl Amor in the tackle. And then the penalty goes against Gerrard for something he said.
Well, that's criminal. Paul Johnson and Kyle Amor in that tackle. But there you go, you cannot do that.
I think there may well have been a hand in there for Chris Gerrard on that ball, but you can't react like that. The
You've
referee
just got to get on with it.
Referee ain't going to change his mind, and you've got to get on with the next thing you've got to do, which is defence for Widnes.
Well, Whitehaven haven't thrown the towel in. Here's Kyle Amor, Leroy Joe, Carl Rudd. They spin the ball wide to Calvert. Calvert comes back in field looking for a hole in the Widnes Vikings defence. There isn't one. Allen with the tackle. McAvoy across the field looking to straighten up Scott McAvoy. Up to the 10-metre line. That's positive from this Whitehaven side, and possibly the most encouraging attack so far in this second half, apart from that one where Hamzat was tackled into touch. That's the 5th tackle though. Widnes appealing for a knock-on there. Referee saying no, he kept hold of the ball. Or Mattinson juggling with it, gets it to Rudd. Rudd stabs the kick in. Varkulis goes back and again has to pat the ball dead.
Again, not taking any chances, Varkulis. They're really targeting Widnes' right-hand side. Carl Rudd again, a neat little kick, putting pressure under Richard Varkulis.
There's that game management I was talking about. Carl Rudd, he makes the right decisions at the right time. And Jed Stokes knows if he can get good field position, he can ask some questions, and they need to get some points on the board.
Still a quarter of the game to go. If they could get something on the board soon, at least give themselves a bit of a lifeline. But they're running into some pretty solid Widnes defence. The Heckenberg back out there, having been patched up. Here's Kyle Amor. Amor, of course, dual registered with the Leeds Rhinos. Here's Leroy Joe. Short pass to Kyle Bibb. Howard Hill now. Here's Leroy Joe. Rudd. Good pass on. Johnson couldn't take it, and the referee waves play on, and Thackeray picks it up. And it was open there for Paul Johnson. It was a peach of a pass as well. If it had stuck, it'd have been in.
It had the perfect weight on it. He'd run the perfect line. But just unfortunately, he failed to keep hold of that ball. Just watch that. Into the gap. And you have to say that Widnes' pressure in defence may have caused that error.
Whitehaven tiredly now retreating the 10. Just starting to look a little bit weary. Of course, you've got to take into account the fact they didn't get back from their game in Toulouse until the early hours of Monday morning. So it's a pretty quick turnaround for Jed Stokes' men.
I'm going to give Leroy Joe a big rap in this game.
Here goes Netherton again. Netherton is through. He has got some support, and the support is Grady. And Grady will get a walk-in try for his 2nd of the night. But it was Netherton's break that set it up for him. And Whitehaven again pay the price for the error up the other end of the field. When they look like scoring, they put the ball down. And a few tackles later, that man, Kirk Netherton, is setting up the try for that man, Shane Grady, his 12th of the season now.
Whitehaven's mistake is Widnes' opportunity, and they've been superb all night. Dave Allen yet again making a defensive play that gives the possession to Widnes, and Kirk Netherton, he's motioning to go towards the left, committing that Whitehaven defender, and just pops it across to his right-hand shoulder, and Shane Grady, the right place at the right time.
Craven has got the goal-kicking duties on his debut and kicks his first goal for the side, the senior side, to extend their lead to 34 points to 4 now. And the Widnes Vikings drought definitely ending here.
You can see when Kirk Netherton gets out again, he pumps that ball. You can't man watch, you've got to take the man with the ball. Whitehaven failed to do that. Shane Grady goes in for the try. But I was just going to say before that break, Leroy Joe, he's trying to rally his troops, he's trying everything, he's giving his side an awful lot of direction. It's going to be a tough ask to come back from 30 points behind.
That restart is drilled along the grounds and it's fielded by Grady, the latest of the Widnes Vikings try scorers then. And this Whitehaven record, recent record against the Widnes Vikings, looks like coming to an end. They've had the edge on them at home over the last couple of years, but very much looks like now that the Widnes Vikings are going to travel back to Cheshire with the points. And
whoa. Here we go.
And that'll move them up into the top 6 in the table. Calvert flirting with the sidelines.
Thomas Coyle doing a great job. I thought Calvert was away there. Good pressure from Widnes, but unfortunately exposed the chink. And you don't need to give Craig Calvert 2 opportunities in that position.
Well, Whitehaven still throwing themselves at this Widnes Vikings defence. It was Danny Bauer making his first appearance of the season. Now then, Amor with the run, still going on, then he loses the ball. It would have been a glorious solo try from Kyle Amor if he'd got there, but he couldn't.
A superb break from Kyle Amor. Watch the footwork. He has support, shows the dummy, and then just can't get the ball to his support player. Look at the anguish on his face. Great footwork. In this wet weather, what you need to do is go back against the grain, make the defenders lose their hips, lose their studs, lose the footing.
So another chance goes begging for Whitehaven. They've had them. They've come close to scoring. Well, they have scored that Eelbeck try towards the end of the first half, but that's all they've got to show for their efforts this evening. But young Loz Hamzat has been denied twice. Paul Johnson had a golden opportunity not so long ago. There was Kyle Amor breaking through, and that's the sort of thing that Jed Stokes says has just not been going their way. And I tell you what, they're missing support play like maybe Greg McNally. But it's Widnes Vikings coming forward at the moment. Coyle, well, he manages to get the ball away to Paddy Flynn. We said, could Flynn get on the score sheet? He couldn't make the most of that because Hamzat makes the tackle. But Whitehaven very slowly getting back to defend this. The kick out wide, they're queuing up for this. Lee Duran, oh, what a lovely touch from Lee Duran to knock that ball back inside for Richard Varkulis to finish off. That was absolutely magical from Lee Duran. That was like the Lionel Messi touch of the championship. Little flip back inside, and Varkulis just canted onto the ball, and no wonder the Irish international is getting the plaudits of his teammates.
Widnes breaking at will now. Anthony Thackeray, sorry. Thomas Coyle goes through a gap. He has support. It's an ugly pass, but let's credit Loz Hamzat. Clings onto him, and watch this. This is the highest quality of rugby league. Anthony Thackeray puts the kick in. Lee Duran, whoa, what about that? Outstanding. Varkulis gets the ball down and even has a cheeky laugh and grin. I'm enjoying this, lads.
Varkulis getting his 7th try of the season. Another one of the much travelled players in this Widnes Viking side. And Danny Craven has taken over the goal-kicking duties. Shane Grady having a breather. And Craven has landed that one. They've got another goal kicker in the side now. The 18-year-old landing that one, and Widnes hit 40 points to 4 in favour of the Vikings.
What about the effort by Lee Duran? You can see the energy that he's showing to get to this ball. He knows exactly where Richard Varkulis is. He pats it back inside. But again, look at the skill level here. Look at him, he has a little look. There he goes. You can have that one, son.
Well, Widnes on course for their biggest win on this ground for 20 years. 70 points to 6. They won back in August 1990. Jonathan Davis got 4 tries that day. Well, nobody's going to match that one. Not so far in try-scoring feats. Dave Allen has got 2. I think Shane Grady's got a couple. But 40 points to 4 is pretty satisfying for a Widnes Vikings side that has been out of sorts in recent weeks in the championship.
They've started very slow in recent games in the first half. They've given teams a bit of a lift. And then the second half, they seem to turn the performances around, but they can't chase games. And I think for this Widnes side, it was all about the start, about getting the result today. They knew it was going to be a big physical side. Playing against someone like Howard Hill and Kyle Amor, they knew they had to be strong in the middle of the park.
Well, Whitehaven on course for another defeat. It'll be 10 in a row now. And their prospects of remaining in the mid-tier just looking a little bit shaky. One of the mainstays of this mid-level competition in recent seasons, along with the Batley Bulldogs. They've been in the division below Super League for 8 seasons of Haven, and they've contested the playoffs for the last 7 seasons, but that status now under threat.
They need to have a look at something different. They're unable to break down the Widnes defence, but this is interesting now for the Widnes fans at home. Widnes fans watching Mark Smith and Kirk Netherton on. Mark Smith packing in at the back of the scrum, I think playing in the halves.
Here is Craven, just to mention the problem. I mean, Widnes Vikings have had their injury problems, that's well documented, but 41 players in a season already, and still with 6 games to go for Jed Stokes. That is some going, isn't it?
I've never known a season like it, whether it be in the Championship 1 or Super League, for injuries. It's a big, tough, physical sport, this rugby league.
Well, even as far as this evening for Whitehaven, with, of course, Motu Tony, hugely experienced player, and the man brought to the club to try and stabilise things, having to pull out after pulling his hamstring or straining a hamstring in the warm-up. So it just went from bad to worse, really, or it has gone from bad to worse. And the evening isn't over yet for this Whitehaven side. And just to add to their worries, you've got Dewsbury Rams finding a little bit of form, as Hamzat has to knock that one out of play under the threat from Grady.
Loz Hamzat must be thinking, what have I got to do? He's just been pressured, whether he's had the ball or he's been making those defensive decisions.
Well, they've got high hopes of the youngster, former Lancaster University student. But it's the Widnes Vikings in possession again. They lead by 40 points to 4. They're about 10 metres out. 2 tackles gone as Heckenberg plays the ball. Thackeray now. Coyle, and Coyle. Was that obstruction? It was, says the referee, belatedly.
I'm not so sure about that. See Mick Cassidy on the park, barking instructions. Here you see. There's Thomas Coyle. Does he run behind his Widnes teammate?
No, it's Kirk Haggerty who takes one of the Whitehaven defenders out. Just touches him.
So into the last 10 minutes here. And Howard Hill, game as ever, has been from the word go here tonight. Battling away for the side, another one of the long servers, another 35-year-old, made his Oldham debut 16 years ago, Howard Hill. That pass balloons forward and then out of play. And Whitehaven players just looking a little bit dejected now.
Well, they're looking for that big play to try and break this Widnes side down. But you're right, Bill. Howard Hill having a real big game, trying to inspire his teammates, whether it be with the ball in hand or whether it be just coming out the line and trying to dominate the opposition. He's not giving up.
Just going back to, well, it's the Oldham link, funnily enough. Howard Hill, Oldham, Greg McNally, of course, signing with Oldham now for the remainder of the season, once the pin-up boy of this Whitehaven crowd, and what they wouldn't give for him. Here's a chase on now. Hamzat gets back there and does well under pressure from Paddy Flynn.
Good play by Hamzat. Just had a little look over his shoulder. Saw Paddy Flynn bearing down on him, and just then accelerated, collected that ball.
Move 10 metres, hold, go.
So Whitehaven once again are forced to bring the ball away from deep on in their own territory. Leroy Joe trying to step his way out of trouble, gets the pass away, finds Danny Bauer. Bauer then to Kyle Amor. Four tackles gone though, and they're still inside their own 20 at the moment. Oh, and then they go without the ball once again, and Widnes Vikings have it back again.
Now Widnes trying to switch some of the plays around. Anthony Thackeray going to fullback.
Kurt Haggerty has gone without that ball, so let off there for Whitehaven after their error.
You can see some of the lads shouting 1 minute's work. There you go, there's the mistake by Whitehaven. Dave Horton gets the ball back. Kurt Haggerty loses possession. There may be a hand in there, but he's got to keep hold of the ball.
Leroy Joe. Here's Carl Rudd now.
Whitehaven looking to go around Widnes. They're having no joy going through. They're looking to go around it at every opportunity. That's why we're seeing a little bit of force play.
But Whitehaven's strength are when they play through the opposition.
They haven't been able to do that this evening, missing some enforcers. Think of the likes of Mark Jackson, still not fully fit. What he would have been like in a tasty confrontation like this early on, especially.
He's another player who wouldn't have backed down. Danny Craven just lying on too long, giving that penalty away. Another player who's been involved, Graham Mattinson. He's not giving it up. Still ready to take that battle to Widnes.
I think the difference defensively between the two teams is Widnes have been prepared to control the wrestle, the ruck. They've slowed that play of the ball. There's been less impact from Widnes, whereas Whitehaven are just trying to smash their opposition. There was good impact on that tackle though.
Mattinson, that's a good ball, and Bibb now, Kyle Bibb bounces off the first, gets the pass away, but it's down at the toes of Leroy Joe.
But good play though from Whitehaven, a little twos play. You can see Bibb goes through, he looks to take on the fullback. He wasn't looking to use his footwork there, his sheer brute strength.
That's the Anthony Thackeray. That's the wrong pass in that situation though. Two-handed, if they've offered it two-handed, I think there was still time enough for the support runner to collect that ball.
Well, Whitehaven can take some positives. I know it's hard to think when it's 40 points to 4, but you think of the number of times they've broken the Widnes Vikings defence. They haven't been able to finish it off.
Well, young Loz Hamza, he's had a couple of chances.
Oh, talking of not finishing it off, yeah.
The offload by Ben Kavanagh to Anthony Thackeray. You see, he gets his arm free. Kavanagh tries to offload that ball. Anthony Thackeray caught it in two hands, loses possession. What's the saying? If your hands touch it, you can catch it. Not on that occasion for Anthony Thackeray.
Let's get in.
Had a quiet game by his standards, Anthony Thackeray.
This game has been a game for the forwards though, Bill. Right from the first whistle of the game, they've been into each other.
It's been their sort of conditions as well. It hasn't favoured fancy football, although we've certainly seen that one from Lee Duran. And again, they've gone without the ball.
And again, Mattison, he causes an awful lot of problems when he gets out from dummy half. His speed around the ruck and offloads the ball to Bibb. He just can't take it in under pressure from Matt Gardner.
Surrender!
Into the last 5 minutes then, and Widnes Vikings, as mentioned, after this run of 5 games without a win in the championship, back on track, and by virtue of this win, back into the top 6 at the expense of Toulouse Olympique. I think we'll confirm the tables later on, but I think that's the case. So that battle for the playoff places, certainly the fringe playoff places, looking interesting as well. It's a good kick.
That's an outstanding kick. There's been some quality performances from Widnes today. They've come here under pressure. It's still a Widnes kick. It's not a 40-20, but the kicking game has been superb. Paddy Flynn at the back, he's had an excellent game. I think the forwards have outplayed their opposition. Players like Lee Duran, Chris Gerrard, Dave Allen in particular. His defence has really showed up on those fringes. He's had some good involvements and a lot of the points scored.
That Thackeray kick puts Whitehaven again deep in their own half, which is where Widnes have been out to keep them for much of this second half. And some outstanding performances from this Widnes Vikings side.
When Kirk Netherton came onto the pitch, he really altered the fabric of the game. He changed it, he picked up the ball, came out from acting half, committing Whitehaven defenders, and because of the rush defence, because of the line speed, he committed them, putting his teammates through gaps.
We mentioned earlier on the fact that Whitehaven has struggled to score points, but this is also the 6th time this season they've conceded over 40 points, or 40 or more points. And that's not good news for that Whitehaven coach, Jed Stokes, with his side involved in a relegation scrap now at the foot of the table. And Lee Duran, that's a nice shiner he's got there, but it's been a good night's work for Lee Duran, and it's again making the point that until Dean Gaskell pulled out, Lee Duran would probably have been sitting at home with his feet up this evening.
It's all about your reaction to disappointment, and that sorts out the men from the boys. It's as simple as that. Do you sulk? Do you play with a frown on your face? Or do you turn that frown upside down and enjoy your night's work?
Well, he certainly has, as has his Widnes Vikings teammates. And the game ending as it started, I thought it was. I thought we were going to have another little bust up, but it's I think the players are too weary for that now. Just let's get this hooter blown, which will happen in a couple of seconds time, and let's get off the pitch. The penalty will be completed, and Lee Duran and Thomas Coyle fancies a run, but he'll take the tackle, and that is it satisfactorily for the Widnes Vikings. Back on track. And bruised, but certainly not bowed. And Whitehaven's problems continue. The game really dominated virtually from the word go by the Widnes Vikings. They ran into some pretty pumped up opposition early on, but once they'd really quelled that Whitehaven uprising, Widnes were in control, and one of the players who helped them achieve that control was Dave Allen, who I think is the man of the match. That he is, in fact, and he's now with Rod.
Dave, well done on the man of the match, and well done on the Widnes victory. There's the bottle of champagne that goes with it. Conditions very tough tonight. Was it a case of you blokes in the pack laying the platform early on for the win?
Yeah, that was exactly what our game plan was, you know, kick chase and then play the ball in their end with the conditions as they were today.
It's been a very tough sequence of results in the league and the championship for Widnes. Why have you struggled in the championship and done so well in the Northern Rail?
Injuries has got to be been a massive problem for us. Some weeks the team that's played on the Sunday hasn't trained all week, so we've had to group it. A lot of young lads have come in, but I think we're just trying to get through the other edge now, so hopefully we'll kick on for the rest of the season.
It's unthinkable, really, that Widnes wouldn't be in the playoffs, wouldn't be in the top 6, isn't it?
Yeah. With the squad we've got, I think we can. Once we're all fit, I think we'll match any team which we've showed this year. You know, Featherstone we got beat by a point, and we should have beat them last week. So I think everyone's confident that at the end of the season we'll be there.
Well done to the man of the match. There's the champagne, as they said. There's £100 to the charity of your choice, Dave, as well. Where will that be going?
Yeah, Matt Millen Nurses, please.
Lovely, well done. Let's bring in Mick Cassidy, who's been coach of the team, but still getting himself dirty down the coalface as ever, Mick. And we know it's been a tough week at the club with Paul away on compassionate leave. Just give us a perspective on how you've gone about your business, you and Stuart, this week.
It's been more about the players just helping each other, working for each other. They knew it was just up to them to do the job today. Defence was a massive part of our training this week, and we defended well. Yeah,
just sum up how pleased you were with the way the players went about the game plan that Dave was talking about a moment or two ago.
Well, they just stuck to everything we were asking them. Every time we had a mistake or a drop ball penalty, they got back on it and just defended well.
Made some good stuff in the end there, Mick. We scored some good tries in the second half.
They certainly did, yeah. They got a bit more confidence. We've been lacking in confidence in play, but, you know, at the end of the game, because we was in front, we got some confidence, and it's nice to see.
And we know you've got a cup final coming up in just over a fortnight. I mean, is that something that can distract, or is it something you're looking to say, well, hey, everyone's got a chance of playing in the cup final, so let's see what the players can do?
Everybody has got a chance of playing in the cup final. That's what's good about it. Like I say, you try not to think about it. We've got Dewsbury before that, so everybody's got another opportunity to play well to try and get a place in the final.
And clearly, as we were just saying to Dave, I mean, Widnes are a club that really should be in the top 6. I mean, it's almost unthinkable that you shouldn't finish in the playoff places, isn't it?
In rugby league, there's no shoulds or coulds. You've got to work hard every day, and that's what we'll do.
Thanks, Mick. Well done tonight. Enjoy the win.
Cheers, thanks.